Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. I am Jesse Milestone, and this is meant to offend. So if you're offended, good. If you're offended by this, you may be a person who identifies as an InCel. You may be a person who just doesn't get laid enough or some variation thereof. So what's an InCel? That word stands for involuntary celibacy, and it's a horrible term that should be eradicated. But we'll get to that a little bit later. First, you might be asking, why Jesse? Why are you dressed in such a provocative manner to talk about something like involuntary celibacy? Why? To fucking piss off any incels who might be watching this movie so they can stare at me and go, fuck that bitch! Fuck her! She's the root of all my problems! I'm gonna go murder her! So yeah, that's why am I doing this? Because I like pissing people off. It's fun for me. Or haven't you noticed that you're watching a video series called Meant to Offend? Anyway, on that note, incels. You guys, it's your fucking fault you're not getting laid. It's not the fault of womankind or feminism or society. It's your own goddamn fault. Take some goddamn responsibility. I've heard a lot of reasons for why I can't get laid. Why can't I get laid? Ranging from everything from I have a small penis to the matriarchy is oppressing me, to I'm socially awkward and whatever. And there's validity to one of those. The rest of that, shove it up your asshole. As far as the small penis thing goes, I've heard that a bunch. I got a lot of people on the Size Matters video being like, I have a small dick and I can't get laid because I'm afraid women are gonna reject me. Yeah. Bullshit. People with small dicks get laid all the time. How would I know that? I've had sex with some of them. Yeah, I fucked a micro penis once, and guess what? That guy was the cockiest motherfucker in the world. I don't even know if he realized he had a micro penis. Because that guy, man, he was incredibly confident. He was somewhat charming, a little bit of a dick, but to compensate for the fact that he didn't have much of one, I guess. But that certainly didn't stop him. So if that's your only reason, that's the only thing you cling to, oh my god, women are gonna reject my small penis, go fuck yourself. You're wrong. You're just wrong. You were just wrong. I do not discriminate based on size. Yeah, I will have better experiences with some than with others, and I will return to certain customers, but size may be a factor in that, but I do not reject somebody out of hand on the basis of size. If someone's like, hey, I got a 3-inch dick, but I will lick your pussy like a motherfucking ninja, I'm gonna be like, great, good for you. I know a guy who is a little socially awkward, who doesn't have the world's greatest dick, and doesn't really last all that long, but if vagina licking were an Olympic sport, he would win the gold medal every single time. He's like a marathon vagina licker, right? So there's other shit you can do and be confident in your skills, and he's very confident in that skill, mind you, and he's very, very good at it. So I don't want to hear the small penis excuse. Dead. That one, done. Over. Alright? I don't want to hear this bullshit about how, feminism is so oppressive and men can't get laid anymore because women are just so oppressive. Like, I'm sorry. Women are out there trying to get laid too, so someone has to be having sex with us because the majority of the population, the female population, is still heterosexual. So, women aren't clearly not the problem across the board. Also, how many years have men been in charge and oppressing women and not taking consent into consideration or any shit like that, right? And now what? It's been a few years since you could even make the claim, make the argument that our culture is skewed towards women. It's not, by the way. There are portions that are, and there are portions that are not, and we're still fighting to find that balance, and there needs to be a balance. It shouldn't be skewed one way or the other. It should be equal. But if you want to make that argument, it's only a few years you could have made that argument for. So fuck you, deal with it. Oh my god, the rest of us, like, people all over the world have been dealing with way greater problems for way longer, so stop fucking finding things to whine about. I'm sorry, incels, involuntary celibate fucking people, are just as bad as SJWs. Oh, let me whine and blame the world for my problems and try to tell everyone else it's their business to fix it. So that's an issue, right? You cannot, so that one, done. Do not blame women. You can't do that. So the one thing I said has validity to it is this social awkwardness. I'm really awkward. I'm love shy, right? I get really uncomfortable in romantic situations. I just don't know how to proceed. Oh my God. I can sympathize with that. Most of us have been there at some point in our life. Most of us don't just hit puberty and go, yep, I can talk to women, I can seduce men, I got this. Most of us have a learning curve there, have a period where we're shy or nervous or afraid or feel you're scared of rejection and shit like that. Yeah, that happens to all of us. Some of us grow out of it more easily. Other ones of us do not, all right? But guess what? Who is responsible for that? Oh, I don't know, whoever made me this way. Women, because it's so hard to talk because they're so, no! Shut up! You are! You are responsible for who you are and how you interact with the fucking world! I'm responsible for that for myself, right? I have gone through many, many changes as a human being in the ways that I interact with people, in the ways I relate to people, in the ways I approach my relationships. I used to be socially awkward. I used to be that person who went to parties and stood in the corner and got ignored for half an hour and went, yup, see, I'm invisible if I don't talk to people. And now I'm the person who goes into a room and I'm like, hey, what's your name? Oh, you're not that cool. Fuck you, see you later, bye. How did that happen? Because I willed it to happen. Because I made it happen. Because I took conscious steps and made effort to make it happen. It's not always easy and it doesn't always work, but guess what? That's life. We don't always succeed at the things we want to do. Heck, baseball players don't even succeed at hitting the ball most of the time. Call back. This is my last video. Anyway, so I don't want to hear that. Fucking work on it. Fucking work on it. And now, the incel movement in general, however, first of all, this is hilarious to me because the incel movement right now is largely, it's one of these online communities, more or less, that exists primarily online. And what's hilarious to me is the person who coined the term incel, right now in the incel movement is highly misogynistic, highly prejudiced against women, even to the point of condoning violence against women in certain instances, in certain forums, right? And what's hilarious to me about that is the person who coined the term incel was a woman. It was a woman who had trouble getting sex and and all that, and she actually formed a community. Specifically, it started as a good thing. It started as something where, people could feel like what was happening then was normal, and that was okay. I think that's a great thing. Oh, you're not the only one. You're not a total weirdo, and maybe having some hope for like, okay, well, there's lots of us out there. Okay, maybe we can fix it. Having other people be like, I used to be that way. Now we can fix it. Yay! So it's hilarious to me that this phrase coined by a woman to be a positive, like, happy, community-oriented thing has now become this hateful thing against women. And yeah, I know what you're gonna say. Oh, not all incels are like that. Not all of us are bigoted and prejudiced. Okay, well, a fucking lot of you are. I was reading a fascinating article about the guy who's currently an administrator on loveshy.com, which is a website devoted to, this idea of not being, comfortable in romantic situations. And even he was like, yeah, this has gotten wildly out of hand, and almost all of the posts now are just these misogynistic, rants and ramblings, etc. So yeah, I know, not all of you are like that, but you still shouldn't call yourself an incel. It's still fucking terrible. We should get rid of this idea for several reasons. And here is one of them. One of the reasons, right? If you identify as an incel and you spend time on these forums and you get caught up in other incels and just connecting with other incels, guess what? It's a blind leading the fucking blind. You're never gonna get out of that mentality. You are only ever gonna associate with other people who are socially awkward, and other people have no fucking clue how to talk to women either, so you are never getting out of that fucking cycle. Maybe try socializing with other people, with people who don't have those problems, and maybe they can help you. Maybe, observe other human behavior, the kind of human behavior you would wish you could emulate, and fucking learn how to emulate it, rather than just staying in your fucking circle jerk of negativity, just jizzing your little incel force all over each other's faces. Yeah, see what I did there? I'm always gonna call it out when I do that because I'm really proud of it until I'm not, and then I won't. I don't know. Anyway, jizzing force everywhere. So you're just gonna keep jizzing force in each other's faces. They're fucking little incel force, and that incel force is gonna make you more incel and just more miserable and upset. And by the same token, the other reason why you shouldn't call yourself an incel, you give yourself a label. Labels become part of your identity. When you internalize something as a piece of your identity, you know how much harder it is to break out of that cycle? Oh, I'm an incel. I'm proud of my involuntary celibacy, and my identity is tied up in being not having sex. So great. Then when a woman actually approaches you and is like, hey, you want to bang? You're like, I can't. No one will have sex with me. You see the logical fallacy there? Do ya? Because I do. So that's bad. Anyway, the other reason why we should do away with this term and not condone it ever is because several self-proclaimed incels now have been the people who have committed mass murders. And yeah, that's not the majority of you, but there's also a small portion of people online who actually venerate the people who have committed mass murders and say things like Elliot Rodgers, who killed a whole fuck ton of people out in Santa Barbara, is a hero. That's fucked up. Well, that's not me. I don't believe that. Well, guess what? Not all feminists believe in women's supremacy. Not all feminists are terrible and horrible, but guess what? That word has become toxic and evil because of the few people who use it poorly. So if feminism has been taken away from us as a good thing, then fuck you. You don't get to keep incel. You do not get to keep that. Yes, you are associated with the movement that condones mass murderers. You are now guilty by association. No, you don't get to do that. You don't get to walk around being like, I'm a good incel. There is no fucking thing. There is no fucking thing as a good incel. You are just a pathetic excuse for a human being who is not willing to take responsibility for your own behaviors and is not willing to do the goddamn work to make a change. Change happens here. It starts here. Yes, with me, obviously. No, it starts with inside everybody. If you want change, you have to be the change. You can't change anyone else. You can't change anyone's behavior. Yes, I just hit myself. You can only change how you interact with the world. It is hard, yes, but it is worth it. Or would you rather be a fucking virgin forever? Anyway, that's what I wanted to say today. In true Kato style, I'm ending all videos this month with on the same note that has nothing to do with any of the other notes, which is, check out the GoFundMe for Grizzled. That's a movie that I'm a producer on. It's about a gigantic man-eating penguin. What could be better than that? The fact that it is hilariously written. It is one of the best scripts I have read lately. It is going to be an amazing comedy, and you are going to want to see it, so help it get made. That, and if you haven't subscribed to Geeks and Gamers, I'm all over that channel. By all over, I mean I'm there at least once a week, so if you want to see more Jesse, you should definitely subscribe to Geeks and Gamers, and that is all I've got for you, so happy weekend, and goodbye.